and started off, you know, normal chore things in the morning. They fixing things, and I guess they're raising corn at the same time. And how it has in the morning at its peak. So after he start fixing things and stuff, and the boy Billy just glancingly looked upon his eyes while he's putting some scarecrows up. He basically sees this unnatural thing that he did not put there. It's another scarecrow. And he's just, the father is basically telling him that, did anybody touch like something called a hole puncher, I guess, for other animals or crops? And apparently he was like, no, I didn't even touch the crops or anything. And immediately while he's fixing you know, the other scarecrow, just in case for anything to not um, eat crops or anything, um, we see that the recurring favorite monster of ours, for the first few scenes of the film, he's already on his move, attacking. He glances at the boy real fast, and then he just turned his head right forward. So the boy was like, did this scarecrow just move or looked at me? And at first he started getting closer to the creeper. And the first thing we saw is his feet has changed into like this crow-like figure. And he's basically, I guess, twitches his toes, indicating that it's a living thing that's standing on the postcard. And immediately the creeper jumps, and he starts going after the boy in the woods. So he started hovering in the sky at first, but immediately he jumps right down on him and running. And the dad heard that, and immediately he started running after the creeper. The creeper was running so fast with the boy that he started already bleeding already, which is even more scarier. And it shows that Creeper have this new look where he's like very dark. As the parent is calling, the dad is calling Billy, the Creeper is looking down at him and started running. And as the parents, the dad start looking at to see where the Creeper went, the Creeper jumped so high, and then immediately the boy is still screaming. And then in a moment like that, it got silent. And then they started hearing him again. And then the creeper kept running even faster, so leaving away from the farm. And as they shot the gun, the creeper just jumped so high that he pulls out his wings and he flew away with Billy. The dad was so shocked what he saw. He just stared into like existence, like, what did we just saw? It took his son, and that was the first part of it. Now we start off the second part of the movie of his school bus, and it's driving by. So it looks like we were getting at like a mid-afternoonish, like around like 3, and we saw that the kids are driving by, and high school kids, or probably basketball or football. They just came back from like this tournament, and I guess they're so excited. Some of them were still felt like they were their turn to play. And we saw that the bus is still driving, and when you're running on a long trip like that, there's no bathroom or anywhere, and you're trying to reach out to see if the bus can make some pit stops just in case if somebody has to go or anything. So they're just minding their own business, and they're just being typical teenagers. And there's this other car that passed by, and the kids started chanting the school name or the school mascot, which is called Danham Phantoms, and they just started going off, and they just started having fun on the bus. Little they know that danger was approaching them halfway. So the bus driver decided to pull over to see if anybody wanted to take a break. So the coaches that's on the bus were like, you know what, it's better for the kids to stop right there so they could either use the restroom, find the nearest bush to use the restroom. So everybody got off the bus. Some of them went on top of the bus and just relaxed there. And while this is happening, the coaches were like, after you guys done, make sure y'all finish up because, we need to just hurry up to continue. So I guess they were heading home, which was the first part of the bus scene. And the bus driver was like, some of you guys that are done, make sure you guys find a way to just clean your hands and get right back on the bus. The kids are relaxing, and immediately we spotted a little glimpse of the creeper flying. And one of the boys, he basically was looking and peeing like a bit far away from the bus. And at first we thought it was the birds, but the creeper flied just slightly to see his next victims. The creeper basically, he just started, it's like an eagle. He just started lingering out his prey just to see when is the right time for him to attack. So he's basically luring them in a trap. So as the sun started getting more dimmer during the day, we see things started rapidly happening sooner or later. So the kid got scared because of the birds, and everybody just started laughing at him because they thought he was being a class clown. So the coach was like, if you don't hurry up, just get your ass back on this bus. And everybody just started cracking up. And then everybody got back on the bus, and they continued to drive. And as they're driving, the bus driver was like, I'm gonna see if we could find the nearest stop so for the kids to like at least get to like a restaurant or something to eat. And then as that happened, something hit the bus. As all the coaches got out the bus, they realized something unfamiliar that hit the bus. They thought when you're driving in a large country road, you thought you hit something and flat tire. And what they saw, they're all three coaches looking at it. It's this bone shuriken that has a human teeth in it, which is crazy. They started looking at it more closely and analyzing it, and they realized that that's no other thing. And the bus driver started calling. She said, well, she has another tire on the bus where she could flip, because one of the kids asked, is the better way to just jump this mother up or something. And she managed to call to see if she could get extra help, and at the same time replace the tires. So as that is happening, kids are listening to the news that they just found that the old church from the previous movie burned down, but they end up recovering some artifacts from the old abandoned church. The person that was talking said that they found that things that the human bodies were in so much good condition that some of them were missing parts though. Some of them were missing heads, some of them were missing body part, and then the scary thing is that the bodies were like close over to 200 years old, which the kids started saying like, can you believe that? And one of them was like, no, it's probably just hoax and propaganda. And then one of the coaches started looking at it more closely. He said, if you look closely at this thing, it looks like some type of ivory or bone. And the other coach was like, it's better to just throw that damn thing away than to just hold it in your hand. So in a way, it kind of looked like some Indian type of shuriken ritual. And then they threw away the shuriken, and they basically fixed the truck, and they got right back on the road from the spare tire that they had on the bus. So as they continued to drive, it started getting dark. We saw that one of the kids, her name is Mixie, she started having this dream, and the dream is becoming more and more vivid from the previous boy that the creeper took, which is Derry, she started getting an image of him saying that, it's better to turn back now. Like, he's saying it, but you can't really hear it. And then the other boy that got stolen, the first part of the movie, started saying that you need to go back, and whatever that's back there, you need to go back. And then while they saying go back, we see the creeper coming in and her dreams and basically attacks the bus. While that turns into the dream became more vivid and turned into night. And it hits the bus once again. While the coaches started looking at the shuriken again, it became more vivid that someone is attacking them and they don't know why. When they look at this type of shuriken that's thrown this time, it has a belly button with a rose surrounding it, indicating that was some of the boys' body parts from the first movie, Derry, because he had a rose tattoo in the middle part of his stomach. So now everybody comes more alarmed that this is not just by incident, this is basically a target. The coach lady driver told everybody that it's better to put everybody back on the bus because something is going on where she can't explain. And she said that I blew both of my tires and we're gonna have to limp the bus to even get to where we have to. And as that happened, she started taking some flare guns at the bus. One of her kids has some flare guns. She started placing the flare guns on the floor, and as that happened, one of the coaches got snatched up. And there was silence. The kids started asking, what the hell is going on? And then as that happened, when she started asking for the other coach's name, the creeper silently snatched the bus driver lady up as well. And then in a few minutes, the flare light just fell on the floor. So the only coach that was left was the dairy coach. He basically started telling the kids it's better to sit down right now because he don't know what's going on. One of the athletic quarterbacks named Scott said, what the hell has happened to the coach? And he said, everybody get back on the bus and just stay silent. As he's saying that, Scott started having an argument with him, and immediately the creeper showed his claws and feet and put his hands right on his shoulder just to snatch him up like an eagle. And everybody's so shocked, and they were trying to help the coach stay on the ground. And he started saying, Scotty, just put everybody down. And then as Scotty and the other few guys trying to help him to stay down, the creeper snatched him with more strength than before, and snatched the coach right up in the air. And there was blood on Scotty's face, and Scotty was just completely shocked what just happened to him. And the kids started asking like, Scotty, your face. And Scotty just started touching his face and putting his face all around his head, and eventually he saw it was blood. All the kids just started staring at him, and then they were like, Scotty, what was that? And Scotty was like, he's just in shock. And then one of the other kids was like, his name is Big K. He said, Scotty, what the hell was it? Scotty was like, he don't know what it was. He was like, I don't know what it was, alright? And he was like, it had wings. It had big fucking wings. And he was so shocked that he couldn't say anything else. He said, this thing just took Coach and all the other few adults. So technically the creeper is just taking everybody out of the adult. As they saying that, they feel somebody in the background sniffing. When one of the students looked, she was like, what the? And then everybody just pulled back. And everybody just started staring, focusing in the back of the bus, staring. When we start looking as well, we realize that is the creeper. He is staring at the kids and sniffing all parts of the bus. And everybody was just scared. so much, they took a flashlight to see what the heck was it. And it was the creeper, and he dressed up like a cowboy. He has a hat, and he basically started sniffing and sniffing the bus even more. And over time, it's like he started shaking the bus like a raffle. He shook the bus in a way where when he finished shaking it, the kids kind of fell down, and then they kind of like lined up, and he just started picking them. Some that he didn't need, he just made gestures saying that who he needs, who he didn't need. And then he got close to one of the few main characters. The creeper just got so excited, and just the nerve of the creeper, just the eager to just eat him now to gain more power, was more focused on him. And he even rolled his eyes back just by seeing the presence of his next victim. The creeper basically started licking the windows after seeing the person that he wants the most. And the creeper basically started shaking the bus even more. And when he saw that didn't work, he turned to the other side of the bus, just started smelling because one of the part of the windows was open. While he started sniffing more and more, he opened his eyes even more on everybody. While everybody trying to tuck themselves underneath the seats, the creeper opened up his eyes even more to smell everybody out of their fear or what he wants out of everyone. We end up seeing that the creeper end up opening up a third nostril part of his nose. While that is happening, he just vanished for a minute. And then we saw that Mixie just got unconscious. She fell to the ground, and she ended up having a second dream. In that dream, she see that she's in the same cornfield as the movie started. She basically started looking around, and she see that the creeper is still on the post sign. And she met with the Derry and the dream. And basically, Derry started showing her that the creeper has basically, they gave us a small lore of him. We see that these old medieval things that like centuries has passed behind the cornfield. At the same time, we see this old type of thing, almost like a dragon. And Derry was like, every 23 years for 23 days, he gets to eat, and then she wakes back up, right? And the kids was like, what is going on? She said, what do you think that was going on? She said this thing could smell people's fear, and what from then? She said whatever it is, it wants to eat, and we are its meal course. And one of the kids, Cody, was like, wait a minute, so suddenly was a psychic cockline, now you're basically a psychic now. And she was like, no, I can't even explain that myself. She said the main reason why this thing is hunting us is because it will smell things in our fear and what it wants. She said this thing been living for thousands of years and nothing has been able to kill it. She said nothing has been able to kill it because not only this thing is super strong, but that it has been living for such a long time that everything that they have used against this is not even suitable at that moment. So the creeper is so smart that he tried to get in the bus just to lock the doors in. So the part that propels the bus flap doors to open, the creeper end up locking and breaking that just for the kids to not get out. Then the creeper pursues on creating a way where he could still get them by jumping on top of the bus, and then started making some dents inside the top of the bus. When he see that that didn't work, he plunged himself right inside the bus, making a hole just to touch one of the kids' name. And then he got closer and closer, and then the kids was like, maybe this thing just went away to do his thing, and then everybody was like, oh, he probably just wanted to, and then he just went away. Then she was like, no, whatever person that he pointed out, those are the people that he wants for real. No matter where you hide, he will still find you. The ones that it picked out. So eventually everybody got so alarmed. Then the creeper came right back. He came right back, but this time he basically punched a hole right inside the bus, trying to get one of the kids. Eventually, everybody trying to pull him down, but the creeper started getting more and more to open the bus even more. He took one of his hands and then ended up getting one of them after the call of the person. He realized that he couldn't reach as much, but his hand stuck right where it was. He started pulling even more, and then the kids on the bus started putting one of the kids down from his first victim. One of the kids took one of the javelins that was in the bus and stabbed the creeper right in the arm. The creeper just felt that and pushed him down. And then while he still stabbed him, she pulled the javelin right back out and stabbed it again. But this time the javelin ended up taking the creeper's eyes. Didn't even know where to stab him, but when she realized that the creeper got stabbed right in the head, half of his eyes got gone, and he just started trying to pull that thing out because it was so far up his head that he trying to pull it out. At first he couldn't see where he could pull out either the front or the back, but eventually he just kept fighting with it, and then eventually the creeper just pulled the entire part of his face out, and it was half of his face was gone. Eventually he's looking at them right in the bus, and then I guess he lost power. He jumps so high in the air that he flies, but it looked like he was like half powered because his body was like very unconscious. So eventually the kids was like, oh my gosh, like one of the kids was like, half of his head is just freaking gone. And then the creeper was like, it's like he got so dizzy, he just fly off so fast. The thing that was on him, he just ripped it off and just fly off. Then eventually the next thing happened. The kids, while they started explaining, the creeper basically fly off. He started coming down with such pressure and rage, he slammed his entire body on the bus, thus making himself unconscious at the moment. But as the kids was like, they felt the whole pressure of it, the kids started feeling where did he put himself is the same place where he created the first dent of hole. And then as they heard some crinks, the creeper's wing just ended up protruding out and slipping through right underneath the cracks of the bus. And the kids just in shock, just staring at it. So they end up asking the other students that's on the bus, we need to cross the other side in order for us not to get caught into this thing's trap. So as the kids start passing by, one of the kids wanted to be an idiot and saying that, whatever this thing is, the wings of it is, and it's like a toilet paper or like a map. And then eventually the creeper sensed that, and his wings just trap his body inside the actual wings of him and started pulling his body, and eventually he pulled his head right off his body, thus killing him in the process. Now while that happens, the creeper pulls his wings right up. While part of his parts, the creeper opened up his chest, and within that he took the head that he just cut off. He put it right in his chest and then basically regurgitate his head right inside of his. And eventually he ended up getting a new head instead. While that happens, they manage to open the door of the bus. And then what happened next is that everybody ended up running, and the creeper's just staring at them in the sky while they're running to the cornfield. The creeper flies right off while the farmer and his son is coming to save them. He said that he was getting closer to the bus. While that is happening, the farmer called the kids. He said, the highway that they're in is very big, but it's gonna take him a couple of minutes to get to them. While that's happening, a lie has happened. The creeper ended up stabbing a couple of the kids. He ended up protruding himself to a location just to see how far they could run. He ended up having all these weapons with him, and one by one he just started taking the kids out. Now at that time, while he's about to get one last of the kids, the farmer finally showed up, and the creeper stared him down. It was basically like a showdown. The creeper staring him down as he flashed the gigantic light on the creeper's face. Everybody is just in shock of what they're seeing. The true face of the creeper is shown, and his body has looked more decayed than ever. Then he started staring at the farmer straight in the eyes, and then they started fighting. So the farmer, the weapon that the creeper left behind, he used that against him. And then the creeper was more shocked that somebody has the ability to harness his weapons to attack him with it. And he also hit the creeper with a homemade harpoon. The creeper tried his best to fight off. The more he fights, the more he realized that this was more even crazier. While that is happening, the creeper ends up fighting, and as he got away for a while, the kids that were in the previous car end up finding another truck, and they put themselves in it and was driving, and the creeper started chasing them instead. And then the creeper ended up doing one thing. After chasing them, the boy had to put himself in an accident mode. Thus, even he got into an accident, he literally hurt the creeper in the process. The creeper couldn't move for a while, and we realized that the creeper was missing some of his parts as well. He was missing an arm, he was missing a leg, and eventually he started leaping like a frog. The creeper started leaping very, very quickly, so that way he could get closer and closer to the other student that was on the floor with the gun, the one that he wanted the most. As that happened, the creeper got closer and closer and closer to him, and eventually the creeper's thought was that not only he's missing an arm, but he's missing a leg, but he's also missing his wings. So he started leaping very high and trying to get closer and closer to one of the boys of the athlete. So he still had a gun, but he got hurt in the process when his other friend did the accident. So the creeper is trying to get closer to him as he can, which he succeeded. And he was trying to hold back the creeper from just sheer strength. And the creeper got so upset that he opened up his third middle part of his head out of frustration and anger. As he's getting closer and closer to him, trying to devour him to replace his parts, The farmer hit him right in the head, thus hitting the creeper and pinning him down. The farmer started stabbing the creeper multiple times, back and forth, back and forth. The creeper started bleeding and got unconscious at a point. And Mixie started explaining that, it doesn't matter what you guys do, this thing will be back, because the fact that it was doing all that is because its time was running out. So technically, if you think about it, this part of the movie in general took place right after he finished killing Derry, which connects the dot right in between now. So the creeper got so mad at a point where he gave the farmer this death glare. He told in a way, it's like he's telling the farmer that I will be back and you'll be the first person that I am gonna hurt, because you're the first person that makes me run out of time. Because the creeper was just running through his cycles in order for him to finish his cycle. But eventually the creeper ran out of time and something miraculously happened. We end up seeing what happened to him after, if his time has run out. He closed his face like a flower, and thus his entire body just got stabbed multiple times, but his head basically closed, and it's like this giant fly trap flower. And the farmer was like, well, from what I'm seeing, it looks dead to me. And she said, make sure to really think you believe that, because it's not fully dead. And in a way, the farmer still took Minxie's word into consideration. So we flash forward 23 years, and we basically see the creeper and the barn, the body of the creeper. They hoisted it up, and they I guess they tied him up. At the same time, they used nails to put him on the cross-like structure. And we saw that the farmer gotten old, but his son basically gotten older as well. And they basically made it like a freak show tourist, where people could come see the creeper and they would charge people money. And some of the people started asking, like, what's the story behind this thing? And the farmer was like, well, about 23 years ago. And they were like, so we expected this thing to be real. He said, you guys could believe whatever you want. It's still more money from everyone else too. And the farmer said, we don't touch the artifact. We just let people glance at it. She said that, well, this thing attacked about 23 years ago, and the best way he had to stop it was to stab it with a homemade harpoon and right through the heart, which means that's how he thought that he killed the creeper. And we saw how the creeper, like all his missing parts, they basically sewed it back right on to him, so that way they don't leave no type of parts on the floor. Then the creeper, we see a glimpse of him, like his body looks so deteriorated, like all the blood that was inside of him basically like sucked up. Like he looked like a dry type of raisin. And we just started getting closer and closer to the picture, and then we see that the movie basically ends right there. But at the same time, people started asking, the kids, all the kids that finish on the movie, they end up realizing that not only this happened, but they have to watch their back for whenever this time this thing re-emerge again. And that ends the movie. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. And now I will be focusing on the Olympic recap, and I can't wait for you guys to see that one. And yeah, subscribe to other things that you guys might like as well. Bye bye.